Good morning, dear students, and I hope and pray that you all must be fine. You have recently completed your exams, and after completing the exam, you are again here back to your studies. And I just like to tell you that I will be trying to guide you in your journey to the ninth standard. First of all, I will take your English textbook, and in this English textbook, we will try to read, we will try to understand what the writer, what the poet has to say. And therefore, be with me when you don't understand. Again and again, try to listen, reflect, do a little bit of self study, and then try to acquire knowledge. Because people say that if you have a knowledge, you are a respectable person. You have an asset to your personality, and therefore, knowledge which you will acquire by reading these books should make you to live your life practically in the day-to-day life experience that we have. So, as I said, the English Kumar Bharati of ninth standard looks like this. In the cover page, you have this spotted deer, and on the horns of the spotted deer, you will be able to see different types of books are kept there. Probably they are the notebooks, and they are open, they are not closed, they are open, and they are blank, which means when you open up to your mind, you will try to acquire more and more knowledge, and our mind should be like an open book, ready to receive the knowledge. And this same picture continuation will go to the second page of your English Kumar Bharati. So your Kumar Bharati textbook looks like this. Now after that you will see here the preface, which is written by the director of Maharashtra State Bureau of Textbook, and what he wants to intend, or what is the intention of our study that he is telling. And therefore he is first of all addressing to you, dear students, a most hearty welcome to standard 9th. We are happy to place this textbook English Kumar Bharati in your hands. And when he is telling that we are happy to place this textbook in your hands, he is intending that the outcome of this particular textbook should be fulfilled by you. You should be able to learn as much as possible, because you have to read here some of the well-known authors, and when you are reading the well-known authors, you are also trying to acquire knowledge. So here one particular thing which I want you to know is that English is not a subject in your curriculum, but it is a medium through which you can learn many other subjects. Therefore, if you learn English properly, you will be able to have command over the other languages too. The understanding will become very easy, and you will be able to explain, you will be able to ask a question very, very fluently if you have the taste, or if you have the knowledge of this English. And therefore, in your day-to-day life, try to use English as far as possible, so that you will be somewhere in the world a better person, a knowledgeable person. And therefore, this is what the preface of your textbook say. Now let us directly come to the lesson number 1.1, life. In each lesson, you will be having warming up session, and you will also have English workshop. So in this warming up session, you have the question number 1, where the question is asked, there are many popular lines of life, how life can be described, and there are two here given. Life is a game, play it well. Life is a journey, keep going ahead. So these are the metaphorical expression of explaining the concept of life. And secondly, in the lines below, you will be saying 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Here it is for you to explain or to define what you think about life. For people those who are rich, for them life can be worth enjoying. For people those who are poor, for them life will be terrible. Life will be like a battle. Life will be so miserable. And therefore, how are we going to explain or how are we defining life? It is basically the experience that we have. People will call it anubhav and anubhuti. So these are the two concepts based on we can define life to ourselves. Secondly, in the second question, it is given some of the acrostics are given about life so that you can define your life better, be precise. Therefore, you have here the first one, life, live in freedom ever. And second one, life indicates liberty, integrity, fraternity, and equality. So these are some of the things that you can define your life, and when we use acrostic in our writing, maybe our essay writing, whatever be, acrostic makes our writing very, very precise, very, very attractive, and therefore define or use acrostic when you are writing your essay and so on. Question number 3, if you see here, there are some of the feelings given there, positive feelings and negative feelings. And with the help of your teacher, you are supposed to write those positive and negative feelings. So when you read those positive feelings, you will be able to understand in which category you can put them, either in the negative or in the positive. So you can do it by yourself. Now let's come back directly to the life itself, namely the lesson. The lesson begins with the title life, and even in the first line also there is a word life. And the author, or we can say the poetess of this poem, is Charlotte Bronte. Now Charlotte Bronte, if you see in the picture, you will be able to see Charlotte Bronte had two other sisters too, and they were also very, very prominent writers. And here Charlotte Bronte has defined what life is. A little introduction that I like to give you about Charlotte Bronte, that Charlotte Bronte herself was suffering from a dreaded disease, namely tuberculosis or TB. And at that point of time, when there was no invention or there was no any medicine for the tuberculosis, the death was certain. And at that point of time, she likes to write something about the life. When we are in our bad phase, generally we are depressed, we are unhappy, and we define life according to our experience. If I am going to a very bad situations or a very bad phase in my life, I will say life is not worth living. So these are our own perceptions, these are our own feelings on which we define life. So in this context, Charlotte Bronte has defined life, and let us see how beautifully she has defined life. We'll read one by one and then we'll try to understand the meanings which are given there. First of all, I will read for you this particular poem. Life, believe, is not a dream, so dark as sages say. Oft a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom, but these are transient all. If the shower will make the roses bloom, oh, why lament its fall? Rapidly, merrily, life's sunny hours flit by. Gratefully, cheerfully, enjoy them as they fly. What though death at times step in and calls our best away? What though sorrow seems to win over hope a heavy sway? Yet hope again, elastic spring, unconquered though she fell, still buoyant are her golden wings, still strong to bear us well. Manfully, fearlessly, the day of trial bear, for gloriously, victoriously can courage quell despair. So, my dear students, if you see here, in this poem, the whole thing is about life, and the poetess is very, very optimistic about life. He is very, very positive about life. Though I told you she had been suffering from tuberculosis, but she thinks life is much more than that, and therefore she is very, very positive about life, and therefore she says that life, believe, is not a dream. Then what it is? It is a reality. So let us, before I explain to you one by one, let us understand the structure of this poem. In the first 8 lines, the stanza number 1, you will be able to see the first 8 lines comes in the stanza number 8:1, and after that the second, rapidly, merrily, life sunny hours flit by up till fly. There are 4 lines that comes in stanza 2, and what though, from there up to the last line, quell despair, there are 12 lines, so they come in stanza number 3. So particularly this poem is divided into stanza 1, stanza 2 and stanza 3. In the sequence of stanza 1, 8 lines you have, stanza 2 you have the 4 lines, and stanza 3 you have the 12 lines. So just see how you can understand. As I said, you have these 8 lines in stanza 1, then these 4 lines in stanza 2, and rest of them these 12 lines in stanza 3. So this is the sequence of this particular poem, and we'll understand word by word now. So, life, believe, is not a dream. The poetess says, life, believe, is not a dream, it is a reality. So many people will have a different experience about life. Somebody will say, life is very, very bad. Somebody will say, life is all good. So here the poetess says, life, believe, it is not a dream, but it is a reality. Many sages will say that it is not good, in the sense there are lots of difficulties in our life. Here there is one particular word, so dark. That dark is symbolic there, which means there are lots of ups and downs in our life. And therefore the first 2 lines says that people say that life is very, very bad or full of problems, full of difficulties. Oft a little morning rain, often, oft a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. So there you catch the 2 points, namely morning rain and the secondly a pleasant day. So morning rain is compared as the bad happenings in our life. For example, if you get rain early morning, you will think that the whole day will become very, very boring or the day is not good. But remember, after the morning rain, there is an indication that there will be a pleasant day, a happy day. So, meaning to say that bad things in our life are not permanent. They are all passing, they will not remain forever. Therefore, ups and downs are part and parcel of our life. A little morning rain, which is unpleasant at that particular time, may be pleasant because the whole day will be a very good day. Therefore, often a little morning rain foretells a pleasant day. We should not be unhappy with a little morning rain, but we should be hopeful that there will be a pleasant day ahead. So, in the first four lines, the poetess says that many people, like sages meaning the saint or wise people, many wise people have defined that life is full of ups and downs, namely so dark. There is a morning rain, there are unpleasant things happening, but there is a contrast idea that after that unpleasant rain, there will be a pleasant day. That means after a bad times in our life, there will be also a good times. Sometimes there are clouds of gloom again here, gloom, sadness. The meaning of gloom is sadness. So there will be clouds of gloom. There will be lot of problems which make our life very, very sad. But these are transient all. But the poetess says, remember, these sadness of our life are all transient. Transient meaning it is given, they all are temporary. And therefore, remember, no problem is a permanent problem. No difficulty is a permanent difficulty. Therefore, remember, all are transient. Lord Buddha will say, nothing is permanent, everything is passing, transient, passing. So, therefore, even there will be clouds of gloom, even there will be bad days in our life, but they all will pass away. They are not permanent. Secondly, if the shower will make the roses bloom, oh why lament its fall? Now here the poet says, if we see roses can bloom again, if we see the roses can bloom again with the help of the little rain that we get, shower you understand, a little rain, then why should we fall, why should we lament meaning feel sorry or cry or repent. So why should we repent when a roses withers away or it fades away? It will again bloom because the shower will make it bloom again. Therefore, even the death of the rose should not make us unhappy, because there is a hope that again the roses will bloom by the little shower or little rain that we will get after some time. And therefore, we should not lament over the fall of a rose, because the shower will again make it bloom. Rapidly, merrily, life's sunny hours flit by. Rapidly, very fastly, merrily, happily, all adverbs. So, the life's sunny hours are good times of our life. So, therefore, the good times of our life will pass away very fastly, and therefore we have to enjoy them very, very gratefully and cheerfully. Enjoy them as they fly. So here the poetess says that the good days of our life will pass very, very fast, because we have already learned that nothing is permanent. So the good days of our life will pass very, very fastly, swiftly, and therefore we must enjoy each moment of life gratefully and happily. Therefore, there it is said, enjoy them as they fly. As the life goes, we must enjoy every breath, every second of our life happily and merrily. What though? So here we have taken stanza 1 and stanza 2. Now we are coming to the third stanza. What though death at times step in. Now, here again, the poetess says, sometime when we are very, very happy, or sometime everything happens good with our life, there will be a problem. What is the problem here? The death step in. There may be loss of our relative, there may be loss of our dear and near ones, and calls our best away our dear and near ones. The meaning of best away is our near and dear one or the loved one. So, sometime when we are enjoying our life, death is also very, very inevitable. If we have taken birth, we are supposed to die as well. And therefore, when there is a death and has taken our beloved one or our near and dear one, what though sorrow seems to win, and at that particular point of time, the sorrow has won, it seems. All are crying, all are weeping, all are mourning over the death of our beloved one. And therefore, at that particular time, it seems that sorrow has won over death. And therefore, what though sorrow seems to win over hope a heavy sway, sway meaning controlling or influencing. So, sorrow has full control over hope. It will seems to be at that particular point of time. But remember, that is not the one. Therefore, in the next line she says, yet hope again, elastic spring. Yet hope, remember here the catching word hope. And in the first about 2 lines, sorrow and hope. So, yet hope again, like elastic, it will again spring. If you see here, after the cold winter, we get a very pleasant spring season, autumn season, and therefore there is a hope. Though at this point of time we have lost our near and dear ones, but there is a hope that they are not with us now at present physically, but they are with us eternally. Their memories, their work, the time that they have spent with us is immortal, or it is always rememberable. And therefore, yet hope again, elastic spring, but the hope will again come like a elastic. It will again jump, it will again bounce. Unconquered though she fell, unconquered, not conquered, though she fell. See here indicates hope. Though the hope seems to be unconquered, still buoyant are her golden wings. Buoyant meaning is given, that which can rise upward. But hope can again rise upward because her wings are golden. There is a question, why are the wings of hope golden? Because here we need to understand that after death there is life. That is the hope. Though death is a sorrowful, but hope is what? That after death there is a life. Still strong to bear us as well. Still the hope is there that sorrow will disappear one day or the other day. And therefore, manfully, bravely, courageously, fearlessly, not getting frightened, that day of trial bear. Here underlining point is the day of trial. The day of trial is the day of judgment. Actually, this particular line tells you about something about the Christianity. When people believe the day when the Lord Jesus will come, again all will arise. And therefore it is the day of trial when we are before God, and God will take the account of our life. We have to give account of our life at that particular point of time, for gloriously, victoriously. And when we will be before God at that time, gloriously and victoriously, like we have won, what will happen? Can courage quell despair? The courage will suppress or end the despair or unhappiness. And therefore, remember what here it is said, that we should be always hopeful in the life. We should not be pessimistic but always optimistic. So if you see here in this 3 stanza, if I can tell you the summary of it, in the first stanza I told you what are the first stanza, 8 lines comprising. In the first line, the poetess describes about the life, what life is. And in the second stanza, the poet is describing how we have to enjoy the life, because life is very short. And in the third stanza, which contains of the 12 lines, the poet is very, very optimistic about life. Though sometime we may lose our near and dear ones, but remember, we will again be with them on the day of judgment, on the day of trial, and therefore there is again optimistic idea or positive idea that life can be enjoyed very, very beautifully. The time that we spend here on earth is very, very important. The time that we are right now is very, very important, and therefore we have to make the best use of the time and best use of our life. That is what here Charlotte Bronte has to explain to us in the context of life. Then here you will see many figures of speech also you will be able to see. In the English workshop, I have already given you what figures of speeches are there and how we can explain them. So let us see what is given in the margin. What do the sages say? You will be able to understand in this stanza number 1. What do the sages say? The sages say that life is so dark. That means there are lots of ups and downs in the life. What do the rain often foretell? The rain often foretells about a pleasant day, that there is a good things happening after a bad thing. And what should you do during joyful times in your life? Here it is said we have to enjoy them gratefully, cheerfully before they fly. What does our best refer to? Our best refer to again our near and dear ones, our beloved ones. Why are the wings of hope golden? The wings of hope are golden because on the day of judgment, on the day of trial bear, we will again victoriously rise, because at that time courage can quell the despair, and therefore the wings of hope are golden. Again in the glossary there are meaning given there: sway, controlling influence; transient, temporary; buoyant, that which can rise upward; lament, express grief or regret; and quell, end or suppress. So this about life, my dear students. Again read and try to understand the rhyming word. You will be able to see always there will be a b, but dream and rain does not match. They are the exceptional. Otherwise, if you put dream A, say B, rain again A, and day again B. So AB will be the rhyming scheme. Only exception, dream and rain do not rhyme, but the whole pattern will be AB. That is the rhyming scheme. And there are many figures of speeches there. We will see them in the next English workshop. Now if you see here, I will explain to you what are some of the figures of speech. Here it is given there. English workshop, again there is a positive and negative ideas which are mentioned there that you have to see from the poem. You will be able to understand what are negative and what are positive. Then again question number 2, all the adverbs are given there ending with ly, and you have to give the another adverb for them. Then question number 3, there is a said pick out 3 examples of the interrogatives, and in the bracket it is said rhetorical question. So remember that point, rhetorical question. Rhetorical questions are questions which are asked to the readers and the answer is not expected. Such type of interrogative questions, we call them as the rhetorical questions. So remember that particular word, rhetorical question. And in that same sequence, interrogation and explanation, 3 points are given there. So I have already done for you, so don't worry about that. Again come to their next one. Pick out the example of personification. Pick out the example of personification. So now here figure of speech that we get is personification. And what is personification? When human qualities are given to non-human being, or when Inanimate things are given the quality of animate things we call personification. Like there we have one example, what though death seems to step in. The step in is a quality of walking. Step in means walking or entering. So death is inanimate, non-living, and stepping in or walking is a quality of the human beings or living beings. So when inanimate things are given the quality of animate things, we call them as personification. So that also I have given you in the writing notes. Again, there is an figures of speech. Question number 3D, you will see example of euphemism. Now, what is euphemism? Again, I will tell you. Euphemism is a figure of speech where a mild phrase is used instead of a harsh phrase. Suppose if I tell somebody that you are so and so is no more. When I say the word no more, it is very, very pleasant to tell about the idea of death. And therefore, death, which is very, very harsh, can be expressed with the idea of no more. And when we use such type of expression, we call them as euphemism. So I hope you understood some of the figures of speech which are given there. And if you don't understand some of them, refer to your English Kumar Bharati textbook, language study. You will be able to understand even the figures of speeches also. So this is what about our English workshop. Now let me conclude our lesson by quoting the proverb of Charlotte Bronte. What Charlotte Bronte says: "We know that God is everywhere, but certainly we feel His presence most when His works are on the grandest scale spread before us. And it is in the unclouded night sky where His words feel their silent course that we read clearest His infinitude, His omnipotent, and His omnipresence." Which means God is all knowing, all powerful, all present, and we should be grateful to God for the beautiful gift of life that we have given. Finally, I would like to say that life is a gift of God. Life is given to you and me free of cost by God. It is a gift, and our relation with God should be give and take, and therefore what we become in life will be our gift to God. So remember this point: life is a gift given by God, and what we become in life will be our gift to God. Thank you very much. Hope you enjoyed this learning, and if you have any query, any questions, any doubt, you can ask me, and I hope you enjoyed this learning. Thank you. Have a nice day.